Namaskar, dear seekers, and good evening to all of you that you are joining in our live stream session tonight. So tonight, live stream session is a bit different than others because it's about the story and the live testimony that one of our seekers will join us now and share his story of how he was able to overcome eczema. So I would like to introduce myself in short. My name is Cyriac. I come from France and I'm doing spiritual practice for the past 20 years, where I live in India for more than 10 years in a research center in Goa, India, where I concentrate in spiritual practice. And I'm traveling around Europe, and as we are speaking today, we are doing our live stream in a caravan. We are in Bielefeld, that is close to, it is actually in the center of Germany. And about SSRF, that is the acronym of the Spiritual Science Research Foundation. And it was founded in 2006 with the blessing of His Holiness Dr. Atavali, that is a saint from India. And SSRF has two main objectives. It is to explain about the spiritual dimension and how it can affect our lives positively or negatively. And we have more than 740 articles on many topics on spiritual phenomena, spiritual science, spiritual practice. And we also do that in conjunction with the University of Spirituality that was founded by also His Holiness Dr. Atavali, that is a saint from India, where we do also a lot of research using biofeedback device to explain and show all what can happen. And all our research is published on the website. So I would like to, Samir, if he can come online. Namaskar, Samir.
Namaskar.
Namaskar, Samir. How are you? It must be the morning for you.
Yes, it's early morning here. It's 10:30 a.m. So grateful to be here with everybody and to be able to share my story today.
Okay. So just if some of you are just joining us in our live stream. So today's will be the live testimony of Samir. It will be the first time that in our series of this live stream of question answers that we have this interview. And Samir Sangha come from Vancouver, Canada, and he will share his personal story, testimony from spiritual practice and spiritual healing of how he was able to overcome a long life situation of suffering from eczema. So Shamir will share his story. We will show you also some pictures, and you will also, after that, can ask questions to him. You can share your questions live to him, and we will also be there to also answer your question or your experience also. So Samir, just if you can share a little bit more about your eczema.
Yes. So it started when I was basically born on the second day, and the doctor said it was a skin rash or like a baby rash. And what actually ended up happening is, though they said it would, slowly go away, it actually never did. So it was off and on, and until about 4 years old, I was in and out of the hospital many times. So it was quite difficult. And the doctors, they tried figuring out what was causing it. So one theory they had was it was due to the dry heater in the house. So we switched residences to somewhere that had a water heater, but actually that had no effect. Then they had said it was possibly due to carpets and dust, but when we would switch to somewhere with a hardwood floor, then again, there would be no recovery. So like this, it was off and on with no real cause for it.
Okay, now what we will do, we will also show to our viewers now some of the pictures when Samir grew up, actually having the eczema. So Samir, you can, when we show it to our viewers, you can share about it.
Sure.
It seems maybe we are having some internet or technical difficulties. We are trying to fix that issue shortly. So just Samir, is you have also on the website there is his story also, and I also met Samir a few times. He came to ashram in India, and when I met him also, I could see they were like it was a because I when he was already cured from eczema and started to spiritual practice, and I think Samir we met quite a number of times. No, so I think few times you came to Goa, 2 times or 3 times, no?
Yes, I've been to the Spiritual Research Center there and also met you there. So it was a very nice experience meeting all the seekers and seeing how to live a spiritually, positive and pure lifestyle there. And I quite enjoyed my time there. So it's a very nice place to visit. And there's many different researches going on, many different things, clothes we wear, food we eat, and things like that. So it's always a very interesting place to visit and be able to learn more about spirituality there.
Okay, I hope we have fixed. Now, if we can show to the viewer, we can show the photo of Samir when he grew up with his eczema. And Samir, you can explain, and when we display the photo, you can share about them.
Sure. So these are some photos of when I was younger. The one on the top left is when I was roughly 4 years old. And you can see around the sides of my lips and around my eyes, there's some marks of blood and some cuts. So it was there at that time, the eczema. And if you see the picture on the bottom left, you can see I'm 10 years old there. There's the little birthday cake with the 10 on it. And again, you can see like a purplish hue around my body, around my face, excuse me, the sides of the cheeks, the eyes, above my forehead. So again, due to the eczema, my skin had a purplish hue. And the picture on the right is actually when I was 13 years old. But if you look at it, it looks like I'm, more like 8 or 9 years old, much younger. And that was due to the different side effects from the corticosteroids and things like that I had tried. So you can see my eyes are quite droopy and, down, and it seems like my whole face has been affected. My neck was quite purplish and black. You can see the color difference compared to my chest area. So these were some of the effects of the eczema and how I looked as a result of it.
Yes, Samir, it is nice that how you describe. And Samir, if we can understand now how difficult it must have been for you, but if you can share a little bit more about the severity of the eczema you had, and we will also show you to the viewer also another photo of, in a way, the breakout of the eczema. So maybe we can show, and you can explain also, Samira, about this.
Yeah, it was a quite a severe case. You can see here the photos. At this time, I was in university and actually had to withdraw and stop. So you can see on the sides, the skin was basically like coming off, and underneath was this plasma and this, dry, crusty um, type of skin. And the hair follicles and things had fallen out. So you can see even the hairline, there's hair missing. So it was quite a severe case. And I remember sometimes, waking up and it would be literally like my face was glued to the pillow because of this plasma that would, come out. And, taking my face off the pillow, a bunch of skin would rip off. So it was not so easy. And also during these times, I remember it was very difficult to get any sleep. So I would have nightmares and I would have these night sweats. So actually, when I went to sleep, it didn't feel like I was actually getting rest. It actually would feel like I was losing more energy than gaining energy, which is usually what happens when we sleep. So everything was affected in one way or another during these times. And it was more painful and discomfortable or uncomfortable. And that was where most of the suffering was happening, or why it was happening.
Yes, Samir. So actually, you seems now after all what you describe, and to see the intensity and severity of the eczema you had, now you seems to be in a way cured of your eczema, and there are hardly any sign. Maybe there are some scar, of course, on your hands, body. But what do you feel? What you want to say?
Yes, it's truly amazing. Um, I'm very grateful to SSRF and the spiritual healing remedies and spiritual practice as advised. Um, there's not, I mean, it's beyond words what I can say. You can see the difference in how the photos are and how I look today. So there's nothing that I can put into words to express how grateful I am for all the healing remedies and the other tools that SSRF has given on the website.
Samir, so actually you mentioned now how what helped you. So actually everyone is curious to know also, and also what have you tried, or what you tried and what actually helped to get cured. So if you can share.
Sure. So I tried many different remedies, and one, it started with allopathy. So allopathy, which is modern medicine, and it was more like a band-aid. So it wouldn't actually cure the eczema, but it would keep it somewhat, how to say, down, or in control, so it wouldn't be so out of control. But actually it didn't really cure anything. So I would apply creams and take pills and things at night, just so in the morning I would look somewhat presentable. So it was just keeping me from falling off the edge, so to speak. So allopathy didn't actually do much or cure anything. It was just a band-aid. Then next, I tried traditional Chinese medicine, and this consisted of drinking a herbal mixture, and it was like a tea. So I would drink this, and actually there was some good improvement, and I did get much better. But after some time, like a few months, then again the eczema, it would come back. So just the point to note here is, though the traditional Chinese medicine was better than allopathy, still it couldn't provide a long-lasting cure. So then after that, the next thing I tried was homeopathy. So homeopathy didn't sit too well with my body. I had a severe reaction to it. So then after a short time, I actually stopped the homeopathic medicine. Then next, I tried bioenergetic medicine. So this was a type of medicine from Germany, and it was based on contact reflex analysis. So it was based on energy points that are throughout our body. And then the doctor would touch a point and press down on your arm. And basically, he was able to determine whether there was energy flowing through or not through. And he was able to pinpoint which out of the four parasites, fungus, yeast, or bacteria was the cause. So he did these tests on me and he found out that I had a strep infection, Streptococcus bacteria. So then he was able to give me some medicine, and the strep infection was, cured. And then the skin improved dramatically. But again, after a few months, the same thing happened. So it just came back, sometimes even worse. So it was again a short-term cure. Then I tried Ayurvedic medicine. So an interesting thing here is, as the viewers, you saw the earlier picture when it was quite severe. That was when I had gone to the Ayurvedic doctor. And actually, it was interesting because when he saw me, he actually told me that he had never seen anything like that, how my face was looking, and that I had actually scared him. So I thought that was a very interesting experience. And again, I tried the Ayurvedic medicine, but it didn't really have an effect. So there was no real cure from it. So those were the different remedies that I had tried.
So Samir, it is very interesting, how you share. You tried allopathy, homeopathy, Chinese medicine, I think bioenergize, Ayurveda also, but it never gave you, we can say, permanent relief. So if you can please also tell us what really helped you the most in reducing the eczema.
Yeah. What helped the most was actually spiritual practice and spiritual healing remedies. So that was what actually cured it. And how it happened was one day, after not finding any cures and trying to search for a cure, I was doing an internet Google search and I typed healing eczema naturally. And what came up was an article from the SSRF website. And the article, there was a couple of articles actually. They talked about how eczema can have its root cause in the spiritual dimension. So meaning that eczema can be caused due to departed ancestors and or due to negative energies. So when I read that, at that time, immediately inside, a light bulb switched off. And I remember thinking at that time I'd finally found a cure. And it finally made sense to me, because I understood for many years I was not treating the root cause. So in my case, it was due to departed ancestors. And because I wasn't taking any spiritual treatment, then the eczema was not going away. So what I did was I created a login on the SSRF website, and I immediately got in touch with the SSRF team. Then the SSRF team put me in touch locally with seekers from Canada. And the seekers in Canada advised me to start chanting or repeating a divine name. So I began to chant Shri Gurudev Datta, and also as per the religion of my birth, the two chants advised on the SSRF website. So initially, I was chanting 30 minutes a day when I first started. And within 2 months, I was up to chanting 6 hours a day. And it was the interesting thing was initially it didn't immediately get better. So I was telling myself that this may take some time. So I would have to persevere and fight through and keep going. So what I noticed was after about 3 weeks, the skin visibly started getting better. And then after about 2 months, then it was only dry in a couple of places, like behind my neck and a little bit behind my leg, one of my legs. But for the most part, the skin had come back to normal. So the wounds and the cuts had dried up. The skin on my face started to heal and come back. The hair grew back and the skin started retaining its own moisture. So I was quite amazed that all this was happening. It was kind of like a miracle, and I was in the middle of it. So I was feeling, everything had changed. And the thing I remember the most is that before spiritual practice and spiritual healing remedies, I always felt there was this black energy covering, and it was, invisible to the naked eye, but I could feel it always, even in times when the skin was somewhat better and I had some type of relief when I was younger. Still, this black energy covering would always be there. But when I started spiritual practice and spiritual healing remedies, then that black energy covering fell off. So it literally felt like I was in a new body because I was experiencing my skin without that black energy on top of it. So it felt like it was literally a new life that I was given, and everything changed. So physical health improved, the skin improved, and then psychologically, I was in a much better state because most of the time when I was younger, I was always looking over my shoulder and in a way worried, or always having that black cloud following me, not knowing when the eczema would suddenly flare up. But now that was gone. So it was like I was free finally after many years of being held down. And the most important thing out of all of this, it was that I started spiritual practice and spiritual healing remedies. And I noticed how much of a difference it made in my life. It changed my state of mind. It changed everything. And it made me a much healthier person. And I started experiencing many more benefits. Like I started feeling much more calm. I started feeling a sense of purpose. I started having good health. And how this happened is SSRF taught me what steps to take to increase my spiritual practice. So I started taking further steps. So after chanting, then I would start attending spiritual meetings. I started offering service unto the absolute truth. I started the personality defect removal process. So, like this, I started more and more steps and started experiencing much more benefits in my life. So, I was just looking for a cure for eczema, but I got much more in return. And when I did get much more in return and started experiencing all these positive benefits, at that time, I realized that spiritual practice I'll do forever. And this is not something that I will ever stop. So I will continue to see this through till the end.
It is very nice, Samir, how you share how spiritual practice help you. So, would you say that in a way, spiritual practice, or especially the chant, the divine chant or mantra of Shri Gurudev Datta help you?
Yes, most definitely. Um, Without that chant, I wouldn't have been healed how I am, and I wouldn't look how I am today. So it's truly like a blessing, and I'm very grateful to this chant that it could do so much healing, which no modern medicine could.
So, actually, to all our viewers, now that you are looking in the live stream, the video, we will now actually what we will do, we will play the divine chant for 2 minutes of Shri Guru Dev Datta to just listen. So that because many have experienced relief of different types. And so what you can do, you can just close your eyes, repeat in mind, or just listen and see what you feel from inside. And just this chant, this divine chant or mantra has been recorded with a voice of high saints from India. And this chant has a spiritual property or capacity to reduce the problem caused by departed ancestors, like the case like Samir suffer from eczema. So what I will ask all of you to do, to close your eyes and then just focus on breathing, or you can repeat in mind, and we will play now the chant for 2 minutes.
Sri Gurudev Datta, 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 Sri Gurudev Datta,
Okay, ready, you
Sri
can stop.
Gurudev.
Okay, dear seeker, I will ask you to open your eyes, and you can write down on the chat if any experience or anything you felt about listening to the divine chant. You can also write if you have any questions about what Samir has shared so far. If you have any questions or comment about his testimony, or if you yourself may be suffering from eczema, you can share also your obstacle, or if you have any questions to Samir. So, Samir, after all the experience you had and that you have shared now with us tonight, in a way, what is your message that you would like to share to our viewer today?
The message I have for the viewers today is about understanding the importance of spiritual practice. So SSRF's research has shown that up to 80% of problems in life can have a spiritual root cause. So for me, it was eczema. For others, it may be something different, some relationship problem, some financial problem, some family problem, whatever may be the case. So by doing spiritual practice, and spiritual healing remedies, we can overcome these problems. And not only that, we can also realize the highest potential a human being has through spiritual practice. So these two things, and also we can experience bliss, which is beyond happiness and unhappiness, which spirituality can give us. So overall, you can overcome problems in life. You can experience bliss and basically realize what is the maximum potential a human being can fulfill and be able to experience that. So I was able to finally find a sense of inner peace and contentment along with all this. So I hope you can too. And I hope you can also start your spiritual practice if you haven't already done so.
So thank you, Samir, to share your and about sharing now your inspiring story today, and how you actually were able to transform to overcome this long-lasting sickness, which we can say eczema. And as the curious, all of you who are watching us, you can ask questions. You can ask your questions. You can share your comment also to Samir. You can ask if you had any questions also about, we can say, eczema, or these problems that we explained about the problem caused by departed ancestors. So now you can share your questions and comment and experience also if you had. We will now go to that. And also to Samir, you can ask if you have any questions also. So this is a question from Caroline Jewel. It is for Samir question. So I will raise his Namaskar, my spiritual teacher Samir. How long did you have to chant Lord Datta for? And do we have to change this for years? So if you can.
So just so I understood the question correctly, how long did I chant Shri Gurudev Datta? For how many years was it?
First is how long you chant, yeah, or for how long you had to chant Sri Guru Dev Datta. And the second questions was, do we have to change this for some years? The questions.
Yes. So it's a good practical question. When I started chanting Shri Gurudev Datta, I was chanting it quite a lot. As I shared, I had reached up to 6 hours. So along with the other as per religion of birth chant. So in a combination, it was somewhere close to 6 hours. And I think the Datta chant was, a few hours, 3 to 4 hours minimum. And yes, like you shared, I did chant it for a few years. I continued with it. I guess it's like, taking your spiritual vitamins. Once you get good health, we also have to maintain it. So I continued for some years, and that helped me immensely keep the eczema away and keep me in good health. So I hope that was, I hope that answers your question.
And yes, Samir, I just wanted to add also for Carlin. See, it will depend when you say, do we have to change this for years? So ultimately, no, everybody almost in today's time are affected to some degree by problem caused by ancestors. So it can be severe, mild, or medium. So in case of Samir, it was a severe case of being affected by ancestors. But some people may be affected mild or medium, so it can be different range, such as small depression, marital problem, different obstacles a person may face. So that may be more, we can say, minor. So at least what we recommend at SSRF is everyone should try to repeat at least when they start 2 hours of Sri Gurudev Datta per day. And after it will vary depending on every person. For some person, it may be few months, like in the case of Samir. Some maybe 6 months, 1 year. It will depend on the intensity caused by the ancestors. But we have many case studies on the website of seekers who overcome different problems just by repeating the divine chant and mantra of Shri Gurudev Datta. Sami, there is another question now from Sonal Kadambari. She asked, how long did it take to cure at least 50%?
Somewhere in between 3 weeks and 2 months. So after 3 weeks, it was visibly better. And within 2 months, then it was only, as mentioned, dry in a couple of areas. So I mean, somewhere between three weeks and 8 weeks over that period of time. I don't think I can specifically remember 5 weeks, 6 weeks, or 7 weeks or something like that. But somewhere within 1 to 2 months, it was almost 100% cured.
Okay, so that is another question. This is a question from Justin Nikki. That it is about, do you know any remedy for depression and anxiety? So Justin, just to explain that problem can be physical, psychological, or spiritual, or sometimes it can be a combination of psychological and spiritual. One thumb of rules is to remember, like how the case of Samir was, when we try all type of remedies and it doesn't go away, like depression, we can say anxiety, because if we should take medicine, it may go away. So if it doesn't go away despite good treatment or best treatment, it may be a chance that the problem may be from the spiritual dimension, like problem caused by ancestors. So ultimately, yes, if you are not visiting a doctor, we encourage you to go and meet a doctor who can, so you can get help at the level of depression. But you can try along, or if you are already following a treatment, you can start with a chant of Shri Gurudev Datta of 2 hours per day, and just you can do it same for, I think Gerald also, that you have these questions about how long to chant. Ultimately, it is good if you can do by break time, that means half an hour. If you can do 1 hour at a stretch, but not everyone has that capacity to sit for a long time. So you can do it in small part. Can be in morning 20 minutes, afternoon 20 minutes, like that, to break it up in different time and decide when it is more easier and comfortable for you to chant. But at least, to overcome different problem like we have, we should actually give it a try, and at least minimum of 2 hours we should try to chant. It can be combined also with another healing remedy, that is salt water therapy. We will paste the link also on the chat so that you can also try. It is very helpful combined with chanting God's name such as Shri Gurudev Datta. There is another question from Singam Mala Monjula. My father's health is not good now. He is post-COVID. Please help me. So Singan Namala, about we are sorry to know, but it's good that he is still alive, because many people actually today's time face a lot of difficulty with COVID. So what we can do is chanting God's name now always help. So that's why, because what we do, it acts as a protective measures, and it also protect us from negative vibration and increase the positivity within us. So if your father is able to chant, repeat God's name, so he can either repeat as per religion of birth, or if it is from India, you can repeat as per your family deity or Kula Devata or Kula Devi. And you can try also this divine chant called Shri Gurudev Datta. And if he's not able to chant, you can download the chant. We will also paste the link on the chat, and you can play the chant in low tone in his room, because the chant will act as the sound has the ability to purify the atmospheres, so it will purify the room or the house where you live or where he lives. There is another question now from Aman Monga. My daughter keeps getting cyst bacterial infection on her eyelids frequently, which she cure with medical, with some cream and Ayurvedic medicine, but the problem keep on persisting. I do feel it is spiritual in nature, and I seek a spiritual remedy. So, Aman, it looks like something how Samira experienced that despite you are doing medical treatment, it keeps coming back. So that is usually a sign that maybe the root cause may be from the spiritual dimension and maybe ancestor problem. So of course we advise you to continue medical treatment, not to stop. It is important to always continue, and at the same time you can try this divine chant or mantra of Shri Gurudev Datta. You can always contact seekers also, because we have seeker on the live chat now. As Samir shared, no, he actually wrote on login, but that was many years ago. At that time, we didn't have this live chat facility where it is more actually rapid. So you can always ask questions, because we also have a section of change for health. So maybe some of our seeker can show you also and help you in that. Maybe we can paste also, we have a section of chants for health. We will paste the link. It is different chant of mantra and bija mantra. But ultimately, if you can try to first start with the chant of Shri Gurudev Datta, your daughter, if she is very young, and same thing, because they are young and small, they may not be able to repeat in mind. So you can play the chant in the room so they can listen to it. If she's big enough, we can try to tell her to chant, but it may be good that all family, all of you, yourself, your husband, and if you have other children, to also repeat the chant. Because what often happens, if one member of the family suffer from ancestor problem, it can be, it's not a rule, but it happens sometimes that other family member, parents, brother, sister, maybe also having different symptoms or different problem, but it may be because caused by the same type of ancestor problem. We have another question from Sa. Can cancer be cured by spiritual practice? So, Saha, actually, cancer, such disease such as cancer, actually is destiny. Major illnesses is destiny. So, whether actually they can be cured, also that will depends on the destiny the person have. So, sometimes some disease like person may have, like how depression or Samir had eczema, that is more caused by ancestors. It is also part of destiny, but here, cancer is, we can say, not caused by ancestor, or it can be not by negative energy, but it is more destiny. And when the person does spiritual practice, it will depends of the intensity of the cancer as well as the destiny of the person. So what happened if we have actually witnessed, and I have myself witnessed some case of those who had very severe cancer last stage. And because they were doing spiritual practice, doctor were just giving them few weeks to live, but actually they were able to remain for more than 1-2 years, because they were able to do spiritual practice and being able to grow much faster. And we had some case who had minor cancer and they were able to overcome. But again, what is important, we recommend to always continue medical treatment, and spiritual practice is one of the best way to overcome, because it burn our destiny and later it help us to grow spiritually. There is another question from Nicola Antonic, that is for Samir. So Samir, this is a question from Nicola Antonic. what was the reactions of your friends and family when they have seen such a change of yours?
I had different reactions from different friends and family. I remember some of them, they were trying to understand from a physical standpoint. I think one of my friends was asking me that, did you take some kind of new blood test, or did you take some new anti-allergy test? How did you overcome it? And others were just quite happy to see me looking much different. Quite amazed actually how I went from, like, my face used to look very dark, swollen. My eyes were, had a lot of darkness around them. And then that suddenly changed. So the reactions were varied. People trying to use their intellect and see how it happened. And some people just amazed would look at me and just um, not stop staring at me after they had seen me after such a long time. They would be kind of, their jaw would be dropped, that how can you look so different? But most friends and family were quite happy for me overall, and they were also quite amazed, and they would ask what happened and what I tried. So I would tell some of them about chanting, and a few of them also began to chant Shri Gurudev Datta. So that was the amazing thing, that they realized how much it can help them. So then they also put it into practice. So this was very nice, I felt.
Actually, we have a comment now from Kirsty Cook. And so you are sharing, Kirsty Cook, that I have eczema real bad, and my daughter also. So actually, Kirsty Cook's, that is actually sometimes a sign, as I just shared before, that sometimes one point where it is easy to see whether the problem is caused by ancestor problem is when more than one person from the family suffer from the same problem or the same symptom. Like that, you have one more than member of the family. So there's both of you are suffering from eczema. So that can be maybe a sign that the root cause is spiritual. There may be some physical point also, but mainly maybe spiritual in nature. So if you can try to sensing to play the chant, repeat the chant in your mind, and for your daughter, depending on the age, she can try to repeat or listen. And because both of you are having it, so maybe the severity is more and you say it's bad, so you can play the divine chant in low tone during the day and the night also. And also I invite you to read, we have a section on self-healing, because at SSRF we promote self-healing, not to depend on others, where you can use other self-healing remedy such as nyas or such as also boxes, so that we can go through those articles and try to implement, because more you try different type of self-healing remedy, it will help you. And we also advise you to, if you are following medical doctor, please continue to do so. That is important. Actually, from Saha, we have another question. Can we chant Shri Gurudev Datta when working, or we should chant when meditating? So Saha, see, it's a good question. So ultimately, see, when we talk about Shri Gurudev Datta, it is a chant that help us to overcome problem caused by ancestor or protect us from negative vibrations. So ultimately, it is best if we can do it sit down with concentration. Let's say when you say meditating. So it may take, usually for everyone, we recommend at least 2 hours. So of course, it will depend on your day. If you are working, commuting, or family, you can see whether it is possible for you to meditate and sit with concentration for 2 hours. If not, then you can try to see when there is some time where you can chant, maybe with not the same full concentration, whether it is working or when you do some activities that are more random, like walking, driving. or cooking or sitting somewhere where you don't have to focus so much. So that is something you can do, because there is ultimately, this is a prescribed chant, we can say. It may be 1 hour, 2 hours, but it will be good also to chant during the day, during the remaining of the hours. So that can be done when we are working also. We don't have to be in sit down concentration, but the other chant can be done anywhere, anytime. So we recommend also another chant. This is a universal chant of Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, because Shri Guru Dev Datta is more specific to the problem caused by ancestors. But the chant of Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya help us in our spiritual progress, and it also protects us from the negative energy or the negative vibration from outside. So that chant can be done anytime during activity, and more we chant, more we get the benefit. We have another question from Alexander DDK. Is it possible to become free of departed ancestor in this lifetime itself? Alexander, yes, of course. It is very much so, and we have many seekers, and myself also have overcome ancestor within a short time, and there are many seekers who were able to overcome ancestor problem. It's just to understand, as per science, actually ancestor problem or ancestor are not strong in the hierarchy of negative energy. So in a way, it is very possible to overcome. And many seekers, for me in my case, are repeating Sri Gurudev Datta for around 1 year and a half. And after 1 year and a half, my spiritual master or guru, Dr. Hatavali, who is a founder of SSRF and University of Spirituality, he told me, now you don't have to chant Sri Gurudev Datta anymore. It is over. So and then I was chanting another chant. I was actually doing more spiritual practice. So like that, many seekers, initially we should chant Sri Gurudev Datta, but it is easier to overcome, and many have overcome. There is another question from Evan Nedesia. Please help me with diabetes. So about diabetes also, what we want to say, it's important to follow medical advice, and that it is a disease at the level of blood. So in a way, at that time, we can say whether it is destiny, of course, to expect to have that disease, and whether the problem is purely physical, or whether or the problem is a combination of physical and spiritual. See, ultimately, even though the problem is just purely physical, we can say. And because to understand that the problem, all the major disease or event in our life are caused by destiny. And when we do spiritual practice and we repeat God's name or a chant like Sri Gurudev Datta, it burns our destiny, and it helps us to reduce the intensity of our destiny. So many seekers who started spiritual practice start experiencing a better level of life because the destiny problem started reduced, and we also gain or get more strength to face the destiny. Actually, we have few comments. I would like to this is interesting comment from Ama Monga. You said that when you repeated Shri Gurudev Datta, it was very effective and positive in daily life. So it is helping you in your daily life activity. And from Matangi, you share that while chanting, scary dream have stopped. So actually, just for the viewers that you are maybe a bit different, but for those who have nightmares, sleep problem, insomnia, sleep disorders, sleep paralysis, recurring nightmares. Actually, we also had the lectures, a live stream, who shows that more than 60% have the root cause in the spiritual dimension. And when we repeat or we do spiritual practice or repeat a divine chant like Sri Gurudev Datta or Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, many have experienced a reduction in nightmares or sleep paralysis or sleep disorders. Okay, I think we will now go back, Samir, to we can maybe conclude for our today live stream sessions. And actually, Samir, your story was very inspiring, and it has already inspired many. And actually, on our website on ssrf.org, I invite you to read and go to our section where we have many such inspiring case study of seekers who have overcome different problems of addiction, anorexia, depressions by repeating this divine chant and mantra and also spiritual practice. So we hope that all of you will start your spiritual practice today. So just wanted to also now share the next event that we will be having. So now we have the collective chanting meditation sessions. It is 5 times a week. So today we are Wednesday, so Thursday, that means tomorrow, and also Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, we have the collective chanting meditation where you can join. We are playing the divine chant of Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, but we can play also during the week 1 or 2 times the divine chant and mantra of Shri Gurudev Datta. And on Sunday we will have a workshop that will be on Zoom. It is of 3 hours duration, and it is through donation, but you can give whatever you like and can. And in this workshop, it will be for 2 hours. The first 2 hours will be of how to overcome expectation from others, or expectation from self, and that really help us in our daily life, because sometimes expectation, if they are too much, can create obstacle in our closeness with others. And the second part of the workshop will be of 1 hour. It will be showing research about music and dance that is very interesting. So this workshop, it is of 3 hours durations. And I would like to quote also that next week, that in the next live stream session, because we have a nice topic. It will be the next Wednesday of 4 November. It will be about angel. Means it will be like 5 things you want to know about angels and guardian angels. So I think this is a topic that actually attract and interest many people. So if you know people that may be liking this topic of angel, you can share to your friend. You can share the post also to the live stream to your friend, relatives, or whom you feel may know. So Samir, gratitude that you have joined us today from Vancouver, Canada. It is your morning, and that you are sharing your life's testimony, and that you have improved and you have changed. And I'm grateful that you are also making spiritual progress and living a better life.
It was very nice to be here today with everybody and to be able to share. And I wish you all fast spiritual progress as well.
So namaskar, dear seekers, and good evening to all of you. Namaskar.